Hi there, my name is Timmy. I make videos about computers on the internet, and we're in the middle of a Ryzen 5 build. But are you like, hey, did I miss part 1? Well, no. Sorry. I checked my footage from yesterday, and halfway through this, I lost all the audio from this microphone. And this microphone sounds good. So I am not putting in old crappy audio anymore. We're just gonna do what YouTubers do, brush our shoulders off, get her back on the horse, and we'll play an intro. After the intro, do a quick time-lapse sort of dealie of where I got to. And when we get back from that, I'll go over the build real quick, and we'll pick up where we left off. So cue the intro, and we're going to talk all about it. Pew! And what a beautiful time lapse it was, ladies and gentlemen. So, I'm sure you could tell, if you're an avid computer technology master degree, this is a pretty cool build here. It's a Ryzen 5, it's a 1500, and we're putting it in a ASRock Fatality ITX motherboard into this crazy orange. It's called Atomic Orange, ladies and gentlemen. Phoenix case. Pretty weird case, that's for sure. I'm having a little bit of fun playing around with it. And then for our graphics card, a RX 580, that's right. I stole this one from a miner. I punched him right in the face, and he gave it up, and I'm putting it in the system. It's a 4GB model, so it's going to play 1080p games at max settings, and it's going to be a pretty fun time, maybe even some 1440p. And then just a kind of generic EVGA, not even a modular power supply, because this is actually going on sale in a store. That's where this build is going. So I'm building all this up. You'll hear more about that a little bit later, but some of the part choices are kind of just more for consumer use. We're not worrying about the aesthetics and stuff like that, but this is a pretty big open air case, which allows for a lot of awesome cable management. So if we're picking up where we left off, I have installed the power supply, I have installed the CPU heatsink, and I have installed the RAM. I'm using some RAM as a placeholder right now because the RAM didn't arrive for this build, but I wanted to get going. It's got an SSD, a SanDisk 120 gig boot SSD, and a 500 gig games drive. And I've got it all in here, and I'm just coming to the realization, let's put some boxes away. Boom, boom, keeping this box for me. Boom. Power supply, 500 watts, should be plenty. Then we can't put the drive cages in the top here while having the graphics card in here. Isn't that kind of weird? If you see like the graphics card mounts in here and all this stuff gets in the way, and even if you take these out, this little tab here gets in the way. So we are scrapping the drive cage, unfortunately, but we should be ready to button the graphics card in, do a bit of cable management, get Windows installed, and then we're gonna maybe see how this puppy runs. But yeah, pretty much a nice little build here, and I'm excited to see how a Ryzen 5 4-core 8-thread CPU works, because I haven't had the opportunity to work with one. So let's put this camera up there, and then we will continue with our build. Oh, hi there! Oh, so, camera has been magically transported. We don't need this drive cage. We're going to turn this little puppy's attention over yonder way. So as we can see in here, got some RAM sticks. I've got some cables running all over the place. Got a hard drive here, a 120 gig SSD from SanDisk there, a 500 gig drive here, and then you could even put a CD-ROM in this puppy if you really wanted to. We might actually end up doing that because this is, like I say, going on a store shelf, which we will get to a little later, which is a pretty cool opportunity right now. I was just going to, I think, to tie these up a little bit, make them purty so that they were out of my way, and then maybe get to putting this panel on. Alright, I have fast forwarded the process. We have all our cables managed. We have a fan in the front that comes with the case, I might add. We have a fan in the back that exhausts air that comes with the case. We have our power supply connected to our motherboard. The left bone's connected to the ham bone. We have our graphics card installed. All our cables nicely managed. Moment of truth time. Will, on the other source, she turn on? I see fans moving. I see no signal. Signal? Signal, 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 signal. Windows! Ho! I had already installed Windows. Looks like we're getting some devices ready. So, I will cut back and we'll see how this puppy purrs in a few video games. Why don't we? I love benchmarking because you get to play the same part of your favorite video games over and over and over again. We have it all done. I ran 5 video games, modern type titles, on this thing, and I came to some conclusions, and I got it all written out for you here. Now, these aren't extremely scientific. This is mainly just to show the potential of this system. It's not like, you know, you're going to be able to buy this system in your local Best Buy, so I'm not too worried about showing you like exact science benchmarks, but I will tell you, give you 5 video games here, as well as its Cinebench score and its superposition score. So let's get going here. So in Cinebench, gets an 815 on the stock cooler, stock settings. All I did was set the XMP profile to 2400 megahertz with 8 gigs of RAM. So this is going to have 8 gigs of ballistics RAM running at 2400 megahertz in it once it's on the shelf where it's going. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, so 8, that's respectable. It's about the performance of a 4770K. From a few years ago in i7, but again, you could overclock this and get lots more performance out of it. It's just, we're leaving this stock because it's going to be sold in a store as stock. Same thing with the graphics card, ran it at, basically let it do its thing. Not a very noisy PC, pretty nice little PC. The fans that it comes with are, pretty silent. I just left the fan profiles on like standard and doesn't seem to be very crazy audible or anything like that. But it got a 5762 superposition score. We're averaging 43 frames a second on the high setting at 1080p, which I think is pretty respectable. That's a very, very intense benchmark. So that's pretty good. But let's get to the games. So we'll start off with every AMD fanboy's crazy FPS game at Vulkan, using Vulkan, 1080p, 87 frames a second in Doom. So that's pretty good. That's really, really good. I don't see a problem with that at all. Rise of the Tomb Raider just almost hit 70, like 69.5 or something like that frames a second, with all the settings turned on, maxed hair works and all that stuff. So that's very, very, very good. Grand Theft Auto 5 getting old, but it's still, you know, it populates its own settings when you start in a new PC, and it set everything to very, very high pretty much. I actually even added MSAA times 4, and it got an average of 81 frames a second at 1080p. It looked very, very good too. So that's very, very nice. Fallout 4, 82 frames a second, and I went into Diamond City real quick. So that was pretty good. So yeah, that's super, super good. All the settings cranked in Fallout 4, so can't really complain there. And then everyone's online game, everyone's favorite game right now, PlayerUnknown Battleground. This computer can do, with the high setting, 60 frames, if not, you know, just this much off, 59 frames a second. So that's really, really good. That's super good. And there was some sort of server issue today. It prompted me at the beginning that there was a server problem. So maybe that had something to do with a little bit of choppiness in there. It can maybe even do a little bit better in there. And again, this thing's bone stock. So, you know, pretty good little PC. A Ryzen 1500X, 8 gigs of RAM, and a GTX 580 would be a pretty high-end, like, console buster in today's age. I would say that this thing would even be pretty capable at 1440p gaming if you tweak the settings just a little bit. So it's a pretty good little PC. This is going to be on sale at North Bay Computer Doctors in my hometown. So if you happen to be in, you know, my hometown and you know who I am and whatever, you could actually go buy this thing. I'm not saying any prices or worrying about anything stuff like that right now. Basically, I'm building computers for a local computer store so I can do stuff like this, and I'll get to all the details in another video that'll be coming up this weekend. But, you know, I want to say this is pretty fun. I really like this case. It fit and finish on it's a little bit finicky, but other than that, it's pretty fun to build in, and it did really well at hiding the cables, I found. It's pretty nice. And it leaves some options for putting a radiator in the top if you really wanted to. So there's lots of expandability built into this computer, and it's pretty decent. So I'm at Watch Timmy Joe on Instagram and Twitter, and I hope you like my Ryzen 5 build, and I'll see you guys in the next video.